Benny, let's start off the third quarter with the first matchup of the weekend. We got 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday. 4 games total. This is the early game. Let me see here. I got times. I put times down on. This is 4:30 on Saturday. Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans. The bias plus score 1.6. 1.6 favors the Bengals.
Wow. Gets tougher and tougher, doesn't it?
Let me run it down to you real quick. Cincinnati came in ranked 5th with an average net points of 5.1. Tennessee came in ranked 7th, average net points of 3.8. Cincinnati has an average turnover differential of plus 0.1. Tennessee is minus 0.2. So it's very close, especially when you factor in that turnover differential. And King Henry's supposed to be coming back. Uh-oh. It's good to be the king. He's going to be fresh. Is he going to be fully healthy? Is he going to be ready to rock and roll? What do you think?
I think he will be, first of all. I think Cincinnati's probably the hot team in the AFC right now. Hotter than Kansas City. Almost as hot as the Bills.
City?
Hotter. Oh, yes. By far. Bengals are cooking on all cylinders. Kansas City's, to me, is still a little clunky. And when I say that, let's remember this team was just in the Super Bowl like 2 years in a row. They won one, they lost one. So clunky for them is not necessarily a terrible thing, but it's bad for them. Cincinnati can't seem to do anything wrong right now. This is going to be a tough matchup for them, having to go into Tennessee. If this game was in Cincinnati and them being favored, even though it's only 1.6 in the bias plus, I would probably go with the Bengals. But I think that Tennessee is locked and loaded. I think they have their whole offensive line back. I know Taylor Lewan is back. I know Derrick Henry is now back, and they would not be unleashing him if he wasn't as close to 100% as he can possibly be. I mean, at this point, nobody's 100%. But if he's cooking around 96, 97, 98%, he's going to be a handful. A.J. Brown looks good. A.J. Brown looks good. They're probably going to cart Julio back out there, but my daughter knows how I feel about Julio Jones, so I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. But I'm telling you something. A.J. Brown is a handful by himself. Single him, double him, man him, throw up a zone. A.J. Brown is the truth, okay? So that and since I talked about coaches when I talked about the games last week, and we made note of the quarterbacks who won and the difference between them and the quarterbacks who lost as far as veteran presence, early success, okay, in Mahomes, because Mahomes hasn't been there that long. I'm looking at Joe Burrow, and I'm looking at Ryan Tannehill, and people have been slighting Tannehill for quite a bit. But Tannehill's a vet. Tannehill's been around. Tannehill was in the playoffs last year, okay? Burrow's in his second year, and he's looking wonderful. And he's going to probably have many, many great years to come. He has basically resurrected the Bengals. But when I look at the coaches, I look at Mike Vrabel, and I look at, I forgot his first name, Zach Taylor, okay? I see an advantage for the Titans. I see and feel an advantage for the Titans. I love the Cincinnati Bengals. I want to pick them. I actually think it'd be even more interesting down the line if the Bengals win this game. But I have to go with the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go against the bias, and I'm going to pick the Tennessee Titans.
I kind of look at this a little bit like in the boxing fight game, you have boxers and you have fighters and those differences. And
Styles make fights. That's what they always say.
yeah.
Right.
So I kind of understand what you're talking about. And it's, again, especially if Henry comes up. The thing about Joe Burrow, though, is this is what, his third year?
Second year.
This is his second year. Okay. So he seems to be pretty mature for a second year guy.
I would agree.
In terms of when they talked about, how's all this feel? He's like, this is how it's supposed to be. So I can't get real up and down about this right here because we ain't did it yet. He had that kind of attitude, So it's going to be interesting to see how far he can go. The bias plus, again, favors the Cincinnati Bengals based on what they've done through the year. And that includes the wild card. That's all averaged in these numbers. So, okay, let's go to the next one. The San Francisco 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. Bias plus score, Ben, 1.8.
That's great.
Favors the Packers. 1.8.
Once again, I'm telling you, man, you don't give your team enough credit, bro. 1.8 is tight. And if anybody has the formula to beat the Packers, I believe it's the 49ers. The only question is, let's look at it this way. The Packers offense is extremely balanced on top of the fact that you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So he can pretty much go out there and call the game himself and be successful. Not only now does he only have Devontae Adams to lean on, but he's grown a stronger rapport with Allen Lazard and MVS. On top of the fact that Randall Cobb is now back. Randall Cobb can catch 3 passes in this game and hurt you. That's the kind of guy he is. Aaron Jones, as healthy as he's going to be, A.J. Dillon should be back off COVID. He should be fine. Zaire Alexander, the corner, has been out almost all season. He is back. This is big. The Packers are loaded up, man. They're going all out for this thing. They're going to be really hard to beat. But if anybody has the formula to beat them, it's the 49ers because they run the ball so well. And if the Packer defense has a weakness, that is it. Their run defense has been shoddy. They've been good certain games, okay? But it's usually games when Rodgers comes out firing, they get a touchdown up, they get 2 touchdowns up, people panic because it's Aaron Rodgers, oh my God. And they start throwing the ball probably before they even need to. Okay, so they just give up on the running game right away because they're like, if we don't, he's going to kill us. And he ends up killing you anyway. So, Mr. Shanahan is going to have to be patient. If they score on you first, you still got to run the ball. Plus, not only do the Niners have the really good running game, but they have all the peripheral stuff in their running game with Debo. Big time difference maker. They still haven't unleashed Kittle yet. At this point, I don't know, bro. I'm getting worried. Like at this point, I'm kind of glad I don't have him in the fantasy teams I got left. Because at this point, it looks like they're not going to. Ayuk is getting more and more looks, and Kittle's getting less and less. But every time I watch a successful run play, Kittle's making the big block. They're on to something. I don't know what it is. And I don't think they care who gets the glory. They're on to something, and it's working for them. They're going to be a handful, but I got to go with the Packers. I have to take the Packers because it's Aaron Rodgers. It's on the frozen tundra. They were in the NFC Championship game last year and pooped it away to Tampa Bay. They had every chance to win that game and didn't do it. This time, they're not going to leave anything to chance. I think they take the Niners out in a really good game. The game's going to be good at least for 3 quarters. And then, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I'm going with the Packers.
Well, I don't blame you. This is what's interesting. I do the virtual, right? And I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to read what it says.
That's it.
It says, again, for our podcast audience, I was surprised at my ability to dominate this game. This play shows things going pretty well. I think even Jimmy G could have ran this in after the defender missed. With 2 minutes left, Niners up 28-7. The Packers got the ball, but didn't score until 22 seconds left. Failed onside kick and 3 quarterback kneel downs later. Final score 28-14. Niners. Check out Ben and Barry. And this just happened again. I play with Trey Lance, and we were just in that situation here. And Trey looked, and he was dead to rights to that guy, but somehow he got by him. And after that, boom. And I'm like, man, if it's going good like that, then keep it going.
Can I see that again?
You want to say it again?
Yeah.
There you go.
No play action. Okay, that ain't happening in a real game, bro. Jimmy G's going to be turning his helmet back around because it's going to be flipped sideways.
Well, you notice that I said
Trey Lance doesn't get by there.
You notice that I said could have ran this in after the defender missed.
He's not missing.
Right. We weren't talking about whether he was going to miss or not. I'm just saying after he missed, there was nobody there. But you're right. If it was Jimmy G, that he would have been crushed.
If it was Trey Lance, he would have been crushed.
I'm playing with Trey Lance, so I got away with it a little bit.
He still would have been crushed.
But that's what you say. But long story short, weird things happen all the time. And so that happened. But I was surprised that I even won that game. So often, that doesn't even happen.
My prediction is that 28-14 score, that's going to be scored the opposite way by the third quarter. So like I said, it's going to be a good game for 3 quarters. It'll be 28-14 going into the fourth quarter, and that's when the wheels are going to fall off.
The scary part right now is we don't know the status of our middle linebacker and Bosa. And
he'll be all right.
That's 2 hard hits right there. You're talking about 2 of your top guys on your defense that make up for a lot.
Warner will be good.
Guys. Huh?
I predict Warner will be good. Bosa's in concussion protocol. That's tricky.
Okay.
But Warner will be good.
Let's see what happens there. Okay. Okay, Ben. So that wraps up the Niners at the Packers. You're going with the Packers, which means you're going with the bias. And again, ladies and gentlemen, obviously there's no opinion, no conjecture. Those are my Niners, but the numbers are what they are. Next up, the LA Rams going down to Tampa Bay to visit the Buccaneers. Bias plus score of 4 favors those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Benny, now what you got to say?
Rams at Buccaneers. 4. After looking at these first 2 games, 4 is a pretty big number.
I know.
First of all, the Bucs earned every bit of this bias plus score, even though it's only 4. They've proved that they can do what they need to do offensively and defensively. Brady's missing some big play guys, mainly Chris Godwin, but he does get Fournette back. Playoff Lenny, as they call him. Playoff Lenny will be back this week, which adds to their run game. Again, we have 2 really good teams with very volatile and potentially high-scoring offenses that don't have – oh, I'm sorry. I was about to make a bad statement there. The Rams' run defense is a little bit shabby. And I mentioned that when I talked about them against the Cardinals. Unfortunately, the Cardinals weren't able to unleash their run game because they fell behind so quickly because Matt Stafford came out on fire. There's a good possibility that Matt Stafford could come out on fire again. But I'm going to believe in Coach Arians. I'm going to believe in Todd Bowles. And I believe that Todd Bowles actually held back some defensive looks because he knew he could do anything he wanted against the Eagles. And he's going to show Matt Stafford some things he hasn't seen. If I remember correctly, I don't even remember them ever blitzing the Eagles. I think they handled the Eagles with the regular front four. Stopped their run game, at least enough to discourage them from using it, ran up the score, took the ability to run the game, run the ball away from the Eagles, and then just trounced them. There's a good possibility that they could do the same thing against the Rams. Now, obviously, this game should be more competitive because the Rams have better weapons on offense. But I think the Bucs are going to be really, really ready for this game. I think they're going to be ready to win this game. They're going to be ready to go back up to Green Bay and play the Packers. And they're going to be actually, I was about to say they're going to be just as good as they were last year. But actually, I don't think they will. Without Chris Godwin, and yeah, I'm the first one to say, Brady's done more with less at the receiver position than any quarterback I can ever remember over a length of time. He's been playing with second-rate receivers for years if you count the Patriots. This is the greatest receiver core he's probably ever had, minus the year he had Randy Moss. But if Godwin can't go, or obviously Godwin can't go, he's out for the season. But Rashard Perryman is back. I'm sure they're going to handle Mike Evans with kid gloves this weekend in practice so that he'll be ready. Okay. And then you take Tyler Johnson and the other kid, Grayson, I think his name is. You put that all together, I think Brady's got enough to work with. On top of the fact that because Fournette is coming back, that's his check down guy. Okay. Fournette caught a lot of passes this year. He probably broke his own record for catching passes this year. I love Fournette. Fournette really, really makes these guys go. And they were successful last week with Keyshawn Vaughn. So, yeah, I got to go with the Buccaneers on this one. I really do. I think Todd Bowles is going to show Stafford some stuff he hasn't seen. He's going to throw a pick or two. He may take a bad sack or a strip sack, and they're going to take this game over and they're going to win it. I don't know how long it's going to take them to take the game over, but I believe that the Buccaneers will do that. So I'm going with the Bucs.
I never heard you mention Gronk.
What, do I need to mention Gronk?
Well, I mean, you were talking about all of the receivers. I kept waiting for you to go Gronk, 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 and I just didn't hear it. So I thought I'd again, as far as I'm concerned, Tom Brady could have Gronk and the three little mice and potentially still win the game.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if you go back and look at the numbers, Gronk probably had the least amount of receptions than all those guys, even the no-name dudes. The Gronk is like, who did I mention earlier? I said could catch 3 balls, but 2 of them are going to be great catches, or one of them is going to be a big-time touchdown. Gronk is that kind of guy right now. Gronk's not going to beat you with 5 catches up the seam for 127 yards. He's not that guy anymore. But he'll catch 4. He'll get you 2 big first downs and a touchdown, and that's all you'll need from him.
Well, that's important. You know what I mean? When you're talking about first downs, when you're talking about scoring opportunities, they kind of like with Kittle, he does a lot of blocking. So when you start to look at his numbers comparative to other receivers, it's gonna be out of whack. But he has such a size differential. He catches the ball. He's smart. You don't have to be real fast anymore. And in those situations, like you're saying, in the red zone and stuff like that, it's really nice to be able to Gronk him. And I just still believe that he is Tom Brady's protective blanket. You know, that's where he goes. All right, long story short, going with the bias, going with the Buccaneers. Let's move on. All right, here you go, Benny. The largest bias plus of the weekend is the Sunday evening game. What's that? 6:30 p.m. Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. And you know, it's funny because we were talking about how Buffalo is like #1 in net points, but Kansas City has the home field advantage. So Buffalo has to go there. And still in all, because of the net point advantage, Buffalo is favored. Score of 5.2 in the bias plus favors Buffalo in Kansas City, much less. Oh man, this is one of those games where they were talking about how guys had wished that the Chargers would have advanced so they could see Herbert perform at these levels, you know. But
Yes.
you know, but now he's out, and you know that after this game, one of these two teams, you know, and you want to see them sort of at the conference, at the Super Bowl level, you know. Mahomes, we've kind of already seen. But right now, your boy Josh is playing a right combination or a nice combination of pocket and running quarterback. So, you know, and he's got digs. He's got some weapons. And yeah, man. So here you go, buddy. What do you got?
Okay, first let me
Bills
mention.
Mafia or what?
Oh, you know I love Bills Mafia. You know I love Bills Mafia. I've said time and time again over the course of the season that I think the Bills are better than Kansas City. I believe the Bills have already gone into Kansas City and won this season. I believe they will do it again. I'm taking Buffalo right off the bat. No drama, no extra. Now, the only scary thing about picking Buffalo in this game is, number one, Chiefs are home, which isn't that big a deal to me. Okay. Number two is what I saw from the Chiefs offense last week was a little bit more spreading around of the ball by Mahomes. He got the ball to like everybody. What's his face? Obviously, Kelsey got his. Tyreek Hill didn't catch as many balls as he normally does. Teams are really bracketing him and trying to keep him from killing him. Hardman had a good number of throws and good catches and good yardage afterward.
Remember, I was talking about how much opportunity there is in those underneath throws and those quick passes.
Yes, and they were using
advantage of that of those now, and also I guess included. I don't know if these are included as passing stats, but didn't he have it? He had at least two. Then they had the one play to the lineman where it's like the shovel up the middle.
Yeah,
like
that's considered a pass. That's a pass.
That's a pass. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, they're tricky. A little sleight of hand here and there. You know, that's Andy Reid's forte. I get it. But when the Bills unleash their offense on that shaky Kansas City defense, he's going to have to pull out all the stops to keep up. I really believe that the Buffalo Bills are going to go in here and show these boys what it's like to play a real team that's going to keep coming at them, that team that's not going to cower if they drive down and get a score or Tyreek Hill gets a big play or anything like that. And the good, like I said, the good thing about the Chiefs is the diversity with which they used their passing game last week. The bad thing about the Chiefs is their lack of a running game. If in fact this becomes a scoring battle, or if in fact the Buffalo Bills were to go up on them, it's going to be a problem. In fact, even if the Chiefs go up early, will they be able to sustain it? Will they be able to hold a lead without a real run game? They're pretty much done, bro. Hilaire is down. Darrell Williams is not healthy. The young kid Gore didn't look so good against a good team. They're coming in a little short-handed. It's all on Mahomes. And we know what happens to Mahomes when he's under intense pressure. I saw several plays on the network where they showed where he could have come up and thrown the ball, and instead he chose to escape the pocket and try to throw on the run. He's still got the same problems he had last year when they lost the Super Bowl. I'm taking the Bills. I'm taking the Bills confidently.
All right. And you know something that's real, I didn't mention this during our discussion on the Niners and the Packers, but there was a set of stats that they ran on TV in one of these shows, which talked about Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers under pressure, and the drop in his quarterback rating under pressure. And I was looking at it like, what? You know, it didn't make sense. This is what the funny part was. When I was playing the virtual game, right, and I was really thinking about not like blitzing them or not coming at them, you know, anything, because it's Aaron Rodgers and he's just going to take full advantage of it. And I had to stop the game, and I put the regular TV on when I came to come back to the game. When I came back, they were talking about this, and I looked at that and I was like, oh, so I can't pressure him. And literally just in that time frame, I went on and added it in, and it worked. So really funny, but I was surprised. That doesn't make sense when you're talking about an Aaron Rodgers, that, you know, his quality would drop precipitously when he's under pressure versus not under pressure. That's the one thing the Niners were always able to do, was to pressure him, you know, and really, you know, screw it all up for their offense. So that was just a weird stat. Okay. Buffalo Bills at Kansas City Chiefs. Bias plus score 5.2 favors the Buffalo Bills. You are going with the Bills Mafia.
Correct.
All right. And that wraps up the third quarter of Ben and Barry on football. Again, find us at www.benandbarryonfootball. Let me say that again. Find us at www.benandbarryonfootball. Barry's the guy in the blue shirt. Ben's the one that's pouring the Crown. Is that Crown White? What is that you're pouring there, buddy?
Crown Royal Reserve.
Crown Royal Reserve. I can't even say it. So, all right. Looks like you've done a little bit of damage
what
to
you
that
got
bottle.
In that coffee, bro?
Yeah, well, you know, what can I tell you? You know, look like you've done a little damage to that bottle there, man. Looks like that bottle.
Yeah.
Taking a hit.
It's been a long 3 weeks, bro.
All right.